21 gun salute. Y'all already know who it is. It's Sean the Rap Ref, aka Young Salvo. You hear me knocking? Then let me in. Let's get to it. Never forget 6. Let's talk about it. You get what I'm saying? So, a brief disclaimer. Just because I'm not actively virtually battle rapping, I don't think I ever said that I was fully abandoned in the community. So a lot of people, they get weirded out when they see me in comment sections, or they get weirded out, or they sneak diss, or whatever the case may be whenever, my name is of the conversation. I said I was falling off on virtual, as in virtual battle rapping, being an active virtual battle rapper, to focus more on real life. You get what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, if I give you 10 battles in a year, ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But this ain't about me. It just like people gonna see this blog and they gonna go, oh, I thought he was done with virtual battle rap. And that's not what I said at all. That's not what I ever tried to imply. And I made it clear that even if you don't hear my voice or see my account, I'm still definitely gonna be behind the scenes helping virtual out. With that said, I can't promise that I'm going to cover every virtual card. You get what I'm saying? But if the time is right, if I'm feeling cool about it or whatever the case may be, then you will get a Sean the Rap Ref recap on a virtual card. Also, my son King turns 3 tomorrow, and trust me, he got a lot of shit left over from Christmas, and we got him some shit here and there, clothes, toys, etc., even in January. You get what I'm saying? But nevertheless, he turns 3 tomorrow, so the Cashapp and the PayPal is in the description box. If you just want to send any donation and say it's for King, leave a heartful message or whatever. It could be $1, $5. You can say, hey, man, put that on his Happy Meal. It could be $1, $2. Whatever the case may be, everything is going toward to making his day special tomorrow. So appreciate y'all in advance for that. Let's get to the coverage of Never Forget 6. First and foremost, shout out Adept HNIC. Shout out Yo-Yo. I almost didn't watch this card, and y'all know why. I almost said fuck it. But what these brothers have both been doing for virtual battle rap, not just together, but individually, has been grand. And I got the utmost respect for them. So I couldn't let my own politics get in the way of supporting these brothers. At first, I stubbornly said I wasn't going to watch it. Then I said I wasn't going to watch one particular battle, but I ended up watching the entire card, and I don't regret it at all. Never Forget 6 was one of them ones, one of the best virtual cards I ever seen. Now, I got to keep it a beam. I'm biased. I still feel, hands down, the best virtual card was Never Forget 5. Up until this point. That's my humble opinion. And I was on that card. I'm biased. You know what I'm saying? But this card had little to no errors. But the errors that I did see, we're going to talk about those. But I have to give a special appreciation for those who came, showed up, and performed, as well as the people who put this card together. Because this card is not cheap. This card might have been more expensive than Never Forget 5. This card was not cheap at all. And, you have to invest not just time, energy, and effort, but money into this shit if you want something out of it for real. You get what I'm saying? Also, there was something about view botting or some shit like that. I don't even know what that is, so I'm not even going to. I hear the rumors. I hear the people in the streets talking about it, but I'm not even going to cover that. I'm going to just say, people do weird shit on YouTube. It is what it is. I want to talk about the raps. Because believe it or not, that's what we here for. So, Jack Action rapped versus Luke Kane. Now, let's just be honest here. We all knew Luke Kane wasn't going to show up. He's on record several times saying he had nothing to do with that and he wasn't going to show up. You get what I'm saying? But I'm still going to give Jack Action a fair recap of the round he spit. And I got to be honest. I have to be honest. Jack Action is fire, yo. Not only that, but with his setups, with his punches, he sounds more like an actual battle rapper than a lot of us actual battle rappers. You can even argue he sounds more like a battle rapper than me. Now, is that saying I think he can smoke me? That's a different conversation. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is what battle rap fans are used to, he definitely sounds like that. He generates that sound. So salute to Jack Action. I didn't realize you was that fire. You know what I'm saying? Because when I heard your round, and I didn't hear it till the premiere this morning. So when I heard your round, I said, sheesh, I got to get this dude in the ring. I got to hit up social and pop. And then I'm like, nah, I can't even do it. I can't even do that. You know why I can't do it? Because that would be disrespectful for me to get him on a league full of people who still working on their craft. I'm just being honest, bro. I know there's a lot of smut on his name and all of that, but can he potentially out-rap himself out of all of that fuck shit? Probably. He might be able to pull it off. So I'ma just conclude it like this. He was nowhere near the wackest on the card. And he should have been. I'ma repeat that. He was nowhere near the wackest on the card, and he should have been. And I mean from several elements of studying his craft, his performance, his energy, his aggression, actual lyrics, what he said, the bars itself. He was very, very polished. And it really, in my opinion, put a lot of people on blast. Not just on the card, but in virtual altogether. So, that's something to look out for. Moving on. Gullah JB versus Kid Dangerous. First and foremost, because I'm not going to fall into the trap of covering this battle, I'm going to just say this. I definitely understand Gullah's frustration, because if I'm Gullah at this point, I feel flat out disrespected by the virtual battle rap community. I'm just keeping it all the way tall. But at the same time, Gullah, what you got to realize, and you already know, you the homie. You know I rock with you. You know I'm a huge fan. What you got to realize is when you accept the Kid Dangerous battle, you just accepted an O solo battle. It's going to be hard to win, even if you do everything in your power to win. It's going to be hard to convince people you won, and I think you just fell victim to that. Your material was dope. You was consistent. You've been consistent lately. You started off dope last year, and you kind of, went through a rough spell, and then you picked it back up towards the end of the year, and now heading into this year with this battle, it's like you the same Gullah. Like, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't a 10 out of 10, but I'm sure you felt it was enough to get the W. And what the community is saying is that's not enough. I'm not going to say whether or not I agree with it. I have to be political for this battle. I got to keep it a beam. But what I will say is I take this battle as a win regardless if I'm you. So whatever you plan to do from here on out, you already know you got my full support. Kid Dangerous. Virtual battle rap's most electrifying, most charismatic, best virtual battle rap resume ever anywhere. There's a few people I would never battle, and y'all know one of them already. Kid Dangerous is definitely number 2 on that list. I mean, ultimately, you did what Kid Dangerous does. You get what I'm saying? And really, there's not too much more I need to elaborate on. The battle was entertaining overall. It was a great warm-up for the rest of the card. And like I said, man, I see this as a plus on both ends. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all already got dope resumes, but now you're immortalized on a fire card with a lot of legends. So just keep that in mind. Salute to both of y'all. Greg the Great versus Rapper A Stone. Now, Rapper A Stone is my brother. And I know he got a lot of beef with a lot of people, as I have a lot of beef with a lot of people. And throughout, since he known me, because he been here first, he never switched up. I never heard him speaking spite on my name or none of that. So I say everything I say with the utmost respect. You is dope, Rapper A Stone, and you always dope. But at the same time, I feel like you hold back just a little. In my humble opinion, I'm not saying I feel like you trash. I'm not saying I feel like you didn't care. But what I'm saying is we've yet to see you reach your peak of lyricism. I think you can go way crazier than you've been. And it's crazy because you had one of the best 2024s to me, period. People fail to acknowledge that. And I was pleading your case for you everywhere I went, on every platform that talked about accolades and power rankings. But I think basically what I'm trying to get at is it's time for you to pop up and show niggas. It's time for you to pop out and show niggas. So go back to the lab again. You got to figure something out to where these battles ain't as close, to where you might need a few bodies. But you ran into a killer yesterday and you survived. Greg the Great One, I had to step in the ring with him. He's no joke. And let me tell y'all something about Greg the Great One. If consensus has him beating Rapper A Stone, that's 3-0 to start 2025. He's potentially on an early V. Cody run. He's 3-0 already. Hypothetically. Now, I'm not going to say who I have winning or losing because I'm biased to Rapper A Stone. All right? But what I will acknowledge is the 10 Rock poll, the live chat, in the actual event, and SKC during his recap and that chat pretty much gave the battle to Greg. Now, Rapper Stone is arguing that Greg already used material or angles that other people used. And in regards to that, Rapper Stone, you know you the homie. But I got to keep it a beam. People do it all the time, and a lot of people finesse wins off of it. So I think it's a matter of craftiness and creativity. When I battled Supernova, he had the most generic ref flips. Shit that I wrote down about myself. Shit that I said on panels being funny. He had the most generic referee flips. And then there was one that happened on this card yesterday. Somebody flipped ref. And as generic an approach it is, it's legal unless you completely rip off word for word a scheme, bar, or angle. So if consensus got him winning despite him doing that, I can understand as an artist why you frustrated. But honestly, it's up for the consumer to say that it's a saturated product. And I don't think that was the case here. Nonetheless, go ahead and contest why you feel you won, because it's not a clear loss. So anytime it's not a clear loss, you can say, hey, based on these certain amount of variables, I feel I got that W. So continue doing that, my nigga. Salute. Both of y'all showed out, though. It wasn't a bad battle on either side. So, moving on. Dangsta versus Eli. Out the gate, y'all already know I'm biased for Fam Jams all the way. But overall, I was a bit disappointed by this battle on both sides, and I'm sure Fam Jams knows why. Had she got through her material clean, she kind of had a hiccup. It's not a choke, but it was a hiccup where she had to get some water and kind of find her spot back, and then she went on to finish. But it stole so much momentum at that point to where I'm convinced if that didn't happen, this would have been a body. Am I right or am I right? I heard great things about Eli. And then when I heard his round, I'm like, And then halfway through it, I'm like, And then by the end of it, I'm like, huh? That's it? Dangsta started off going crazy. She was barking. But I want to say the material gradually declined up until the point where she had to drink some water. And then usually when you fall that low, it's kind of hard to climb back up. But she definitely did enough, in my opinion, for me to give her the battle clear. I just do wish that she got through her material without any hiccups. That way we could have justifiably said, yo, Dangsta bodied him. And I don't hate Eli or anything like that, but his material was just so mediocre that it was really a walk in the park for Dangsta. So Dangsta did enough to get the win. It could have been a lot worse for Eli, in my humble opinion. So shout out to Fam Jams and shout out Eli. Eli, you gotta really study virtual, bro, because that ain't it. Honestly, it seemed like you were just collecting a bag. I'm just gonna say it like that. But moving on. So, Cyzure, where you at? Where you at, Cyzure? This is extremely weird to me. He was one of the people who congregated to call me sensitive when I said I was falling back on battling. He battled only once or twice last year. And if I'm saying correctly, he accepted this battle. The odd part here is you uncharacteristically pull out of the battle just the day of the battle or the day before the battle. And that's nasty fucking work. Now, I hate to subjectify this again, but this analogy makes perfect sense here. When I canceled that Gullah battle, it was only booked for about 2 weeks. And we still had about 2-3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, for the actual card. Now, the only reason I chose to do the battle is because D-Money was like, yo, you right, I was wigging. I should have contacted you better about the shit. I'm on this platform going crazy, whatever the case may be. So I reconsidered it. But at the same time, people was also accusing me of robbing the culture. Now, they said this was already booked. It was already promoted. People wanted to see it. And I didn't want that stain on my jacket of disappointing the culture. So what I did was said, fuck it, I'll compromise. But this is what you got to understand. If you got family issues going on, because I haven't heard why you abruptly retired, but they saying it's for petty reasons, if I'm being honest. It's not like a family emergency or something like that. Because keeping this same analogy going, I got sick that second week of rewriting my material, and I was sleeping 20 hours a day for a week. And then my mom was also in the ER for 2 weeks around that time. When I battled Gullah, my mama was still in the fucking hospital. So I wouldn't excuse you either way, because pulling out of the battle the day of or the day prior is just nasty fucking work. And I'm sure you probably sent your deposit back if you already received it. If not, you had nothing to worry about. But at the same time, this is, to me, the epitome of robbing the culture. Because your style is not my cup of tea, but people think you one of those, and they really wanted to see you battle Reek Ruger. And Reek Ruger is fire. I heard your material anyway. You got it, bro. Salute. You fire. I don't know too much about you, but you definitely fire. I will say that. But when the people needed or wanted Cyzure the most, he vanished. And that was weird to me. He pulled the avatar. Now, if I'm not mistaken, your last performance was against ME. And you said nigga. And you shook the culture up. Because let's just be honest. I know it's probably socially and or culturally accepted where you're from, but your type don't get away with saying nigga everywhere in the United States. So obviously, inevitably, it triggered certain people. It is what it is. But the fact of the matter is, nobody per se wanted you canceled for it. Yeah, the troll accounts say shit, but nobody said, let's get Cyzure the fuck out of here. He can never battle again. Even B-Facts vouch for you. You know what I'm saying? People said, that's lame as fuck, but nobody wanted you canceled. This right here is a cancelable offense. So I hope whatever justification you got, you serve it right, because this looks bad to me, especially considering that you jeopardized what could have been a flawless card, because we knew Liu Kang wasn't going to show up. Moving on, though. Pablo Picasso versus Trey Doe. When we talk about punchlines and setups like I just did about Jack Action and how it surprised me, I can recycle, I can copy and paste that exact same thing for Pablo Picasso. And this is what I noticed against D-Money. Now, obviously, that was a more heated battle. He was a lot more direct, a lot more personal versus D-Money. And overall, I got to keep it a beam. I think he was better versus D-Money, but I wouldn't say he fell off or anything. It's just when you set the bar high, you know how it goes. So again, in a live event, I expressed how polished Pablo Picasso sounded as a battle rapper. And a lot of people tried to clown him. And, you know, they got their right to have their opinion of his talent, because this is battle rap. Battle rap is subjective. But what I heard was a very, very experienced battle rapper yesterday. I think a lot of people, and I hate to be that guy. I'm damn sure not a sellout. Y'all roasted me for wearing a Kimmich shirt. That was the most fraudulent. That was the most sellout shit I ever seen. But I gotta keep it a beam when it comes to Pablo Picasso. I think a lot of people gave him smut yesterday. The ones that did, because he received a lot of praise as well. And I think it was just because of him being white. Look. The rap ref gonna keep it real. I think because he was white, people wanted to focus on that and not actually what he was saying, because a lot of shit, either y'all didn't want to hear it or it went over y'all heads. Because he was cooking yesterday. Trey Doe, though, he was cooking too. This was another good battle. Now, the weird part is, liking their material and me declaring that this was a good battle, the comments was kind of hard on both of them during their performances, and I didn't understand it. Sometimes we just rush to criticism. These brothers showed up and showed out. I think this is the point of the card. Well, actually, I think this is out of order. I believe the battle above it on the card happened before this battle, but nonetheless, this is the point of the card where I said, okay, here comes the battle of the night contenders, and I can't leave Trey Doe and Pablo Picasso out of that equation, because it was satisfying that both opponents was cooking and it wasn't one-sided. There was no hiccups. There was no stumbling. There was no shows. That's when I knew, okay, this is the serious part of the card now. Not to say anybody else was parody or lackluster, but it was just like, yo, these are the top of the top now. So salute to y'all, and we gonna move on from that point on. Ladezé versus opponent number 2. Now, I promise, in my most unbiased take ever, this battle was the most one-sided and the easiest to call on the entire card. That's my humble opinion, but I'll tell you this, the chat votes also reflect this. And so does the watchbacks. DNA Tooth even has this a body. Opponent number 2 was vintage opponent number 2 in my opinion, but at the same time, he looked uncomfortable. I didn't like his presentation. The phone was too close to his face. He was already late, And he just didn't look comfortable. He looked like he'd rather be somewhere else or had somewhere else to be or something on his mind. Something was off, even for a one-rounder. Now, again, no bias. He did have a few good lines. I don't think the way he flipped referee was good at all, in my opinion. Again, that was amongst the generic material that people usually recycle to angle against me. So he probably would have been better off saying something that would have stood out a little more. Talk about my compromised health. Talk about me needing mental health. You know, the stuff like you went harder on me on the community tabs and in people chats and on panels than you did when you said what you said. But you did have a few good lines in there. But I got to be honest, on the standard that I hold you to, you were mediocre yesterday. That's my humble opinion. I'm entitled to have it. And I was disappointed that you didn't take arguably the biggest name that you battled up to this point as serious as you would a battle versus somebody else in virtual. And I think Lotta Zay just showed levels with the experience. He was comfortable. He was performing. He let every bar simmer. He had presentation because he wasn't just up close to the camera looking like he was rapping in a closet or in a corner of a room. And he also had moment of the night to me. So I'm going to have to agree with DNA Tooth and say this was a body. But you win some, you lose some. You live to fight another day. But it won't be rap ref. Shout out to Lotta Zay again. My favorite moment of the night came from Lotta Zay. Shout out. I don't even know if he's still Team Homie. He was Team Homie. My first time seeing Lotta Zay, he faced Ill Will, who's also Team Homie. And maybe virtual is just too easy for somebody like that. And we gonna talk when it comes to these outside battlers coming into virtual, because this card made me realize something. There are levels. Oh, yes, there are definitely levels. Virtual battle rappers, y'all niggas need to be on alert. Moving on. Loso BX versus LL Cool J. Look, I told y'all in blogs before, Loso has the most dangerous style in virtual. It's a style I wish I mastered. That chain punching, chain aggression, assertive, borderline AMG mode rapping. It's flawless in my opinion. It's very, very fucking flawless. But LL Cool J evidently did his homework because he knew he had to turn up. That nigga knew he had to turn up, and that's exactly what we got. I called this my battle of the night earlier on in the card. Up until the point where this happened, I said this is clearly battle of the night. Both of these brothers snapped. Loso never disappoints me. Even if you got him losing a battle, he never fucking disappoints me. His style is hypnotizing. LL Cool J, he met that. And like I told Loso, I don't want to sound like I was criticizing you with what I said, but it's time for you to have a new challenge. You start angling more. Like if you keep doing what you do, but making every or damn near every bar in your round angle-based or direct to certain extents, I promise you're going to be unfucking touchable. That's the difference between, if you really look at the people who they have an argument for beating you, that's the only real difference. The only real difference is they had substance. I'm not saying you don't have substance, but clearly you might not even appreciate this comparison, or you might. But I think you more like a earlier version of Tay-Rock. When Tay-Rock just used to gun bar motherfuckers to death. That's what you do, but it's not just gun bars. You might actually take a metal bar or crowbar or something like that. But whatever the case may be, the whole theme centered around your material is physically hurting your opponent. And I think, because I hear you talking these chats, you smart. You're very smart. You're very intelligent. So if you able to incorporate some kind of substance and be like, yo, I heard this about this, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think, I shit you not, I'm going to say it. It's 2025. It's a new year. Your best showing was against Innovate. And I had to watch that back a lot of times. And I have to say, some days I still got Innovate like, nah, Innovate edged it. Other days I'm like, nah, fuck that. Loso was more direct. He angled with the people hated that angle. They made it seem like you was just focused on Paul shit. No, you was exposing somebody else for saying Paul shit. to me, the way you did that was genius. But I think the way people took you actually being direct and using a personal angle centered around your entire round, I think you feel like, nah, I want to play it safe now. So based on that, you probably don't feel like you can afford to be too angle based. But I'm telling you, that's what takes elite pins to the next level. And like I told you yesterday, you, in my opinion, have the most potential to be successful as an in-person battle rapper in this sector. But once you figure out the mechanics, I'm telling you, bro, you're going to be unfuckwittable here and outside. That said, I watched it back and I still cannot call this battle. It might just be debatable and it might just be preference. Because I love Substance, but at the same time, LL Cool J kind of matched Loso's energy and aggression. So to me, it's like I would almost want to give him the edge, but at the same time, what Loso does is deadly. It's definitely effective. It hypnotizes you every fucking time. So I still don't have a final verdict on this battle. But I'm telling you, the day Loso takes my advice, it's going to get dark for niggas. That's all I will say. LL Cool J, you already one of those, apparently. So I appreciate both of y'all for letting me be able to witness a great battle. Up until this point was definitely my favorite battle of the card so far. You know what I'm saying? Moving on. Danny Myers versus Innovate. A lot of people are going to hate how I called this battle. And it's my humble opinion. First and foremost, nearly flawless battle. I wish Danny Myers rapped longer. But this battle was definitely it. It surprisingly stole battle of the night from Loso and LL Cool J up until this point. But again, let's review of some of the things I talked about. I talked about how outside battlers tend to be taking this shit more seriously. I also talked about what I just said about Loso. When he adds substance, he'll be deadly. And I also talked about sometimes you have to take a chance and switch it up. Because in battle rap, if you continue with the mentality, I'm going to just stick to what works, eventually people are going to get drawn out of your skill. Now, that said, this is why y'all going to hate me for this, but I got to be honest. I gave this battle to Danny Myers, and Innovate is my favorite in virtual. I've been saying that. He knows it since before we battled, during, and after. I gave this battle to Danny Myers because I realized something. Okay, I battled Innovate. Opponent number 2 battled Innovate. Loso battled Innovate. And Pyro battled Innovate. Now, I'm leaving the D-Money battle out of the equation because in that one, he did exactly what I wanted him to do. Now, Innovate is always fire. Innovate has one of the most elite pins I've ever seen, ever, anywhere. One of the best cadences, switching up the flows and whatnot. But is it safe to say that he's starting to sound repetitive? When you go in already knowing what to expect, it's a little bit harder to impress you. And I think this is what happened for me yesterday. And that's not the only reason I got him losing. I'm a break down fully what I mean. I wish he could have been more direct. It's not too many things you can say to Danny Myers that haven't been said already. But if anybody's in the world, right, I trust that Innovate's creative process to be enough to prevail, to do something to where he's directly attacking his opponent. This is the analogy that I use when it comes to Innovate. If you have a rap battle versus Innovate, and this showed in person, if you have a rap battle versus Innovate, you might win if you direct enough or personal enough. But if it's a talent show, everybody on the card loses to Innovate. And I think this is what's hypnotizing us at this point, because we're so hypnotized by the actual rapping. And it was like nobody has this ability. Almost nobody has this ability to rap like this. And it's like off of that, we want to give them the win. But when you really study the material, then you start to see loopholes. That's why I originally had Innovate 30 and D-Money. And then I actually studied what was said and not just how it was said. And it was a completely different ball game. I still got Innovate winning that, but it was like a lot closer. So when you battling Danny Myers, and Danny Myers obviously did his homework as well. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about. The outside battlers, excluding Eli, did they homework, and they knew not to fuck around in virtual, because the same way LL Cool G had to turn up on Loso BX, who turned up on him, the same way Lotta Zay had a very strategic approach, the same way that main event was definitely worth being the main event, right? Danny Myers stood toe-to-toe lyrically with Innovate. He flowed like him. He schemed, he punched. Obviously, he freestyled. He was clearly, in my opinion, the better battle rapper. And he didn't rap as long, but I think he did enough to get the win to me because, again, I'm not trying to see who rapped better. I'm trying to see who battle rapped better. That's a fact. So, same thing with, like I said, with Loso BX. When Innovate learns to throw more direct jabs, he's flawless. That's the difference between Innovate and somebody like Lux and somebody like Mook, whose material is fully centered around talking to you. Not just showing you, hey, I can do this, I can do that. Or physically attacking you like my bro Loso. But I think Loso would have more success with that than Innovate would in person. But for virtual is a different standard. But I'm just keeping it real. When you battling Danny Myers, people going to tend to judge it based on how it would be in person. And I think in an actual room, Danny Myers gets this battle kind of clear. So, nonetheless, Battle of the Night contender, if you gave Innovate the win based on his skill level, I can't be mad at that. Arguably Battle of the Card. Innovate admitted it was a legacy battle, and Danny Myers admitted to being a huge fan of Innovate. So in my opinion, it was definitely a perfect battle, perfect styles clash, and I'm just happy both of those brothers showed up the way that they did, because at this point, it's like, damn, it's going to be hard to call a Battle of the Night at this point. Nightmare J. Pyro versus Yo 2 Times. First and foremost, shout out to Yo-Yo and all of the motherfucking hard work he's done in virtual, doing so much on the production side of things as he has to battle. I battled twice on the same card, but I still don't think I would consistently be able to do no shit like that ever. So salute to him for that. On the other hand, you have the official Rock Files Virtual Champion of the Year, the Nightmare J. Pyro, in his very last virtual battle. Y'all gotta put respect on Pyro's name, y'all. I think he had a very, very great performance yesterday. Yo also had a very great performance yesterday. There was only a few factors in which I said, okay, I had to give Pyro the battle at this point. And I think Yo gassing out, it wasn't stumbling or choking. It's similar to what happened to Dankster. But at the same time, like, again, you kind of drop the ball, especially if this was an in-person battle. In moments like that, you kind of drop the ball. It's hard to regain the momentum. And I just think from start to finish, energy-wise, Pyro just was damn near flawless. One of the best Pyros I've ever seen. I did say that yesterday because a lot of people give him shit for his style. I think he has more of an old school kind of style of battle rap, but that makes him even better because you got to look at it like this. He just won V. Cody in the new era of battle rap with this style. So it has to show some kind of elite status. I think he definitely took his last battle serious. And he was even freestyling and rebuttaling. And it was like, yo, that was the perfect, what I want from Innovate, what I want from Loso BX. That's what I got from Pyro yesterday. I'm not even going to lie. And Yo was nice enough to beat a lot of people. And I'm talking about ranked people. But regardless, I gave it to Pyro, and shout out to Yo again. Your hard work is not underestimated, my G. It's very difficult to do what you do, and I say keep doing it. Go only up from here. Moving on. Prez Mafia versus Quantum Physics. And this is going to be my shortest recap of the entire card. I'm going to just say, you know what to expect from QP. QP was nothing short of what you expect. But Prez Mafia surprised me. Ultimately, I gave Prez Mafia the win. I'm not even going to lie. I think he knew he had to take this seriously and couldn't negate that just because it was virtual battle rap. He definitely didn't pull a Eli and just come to collect the bag. Neither one of them did. And salute to QP for that. Salute to Prez Mafia for that. It was a dope-ass main event, and a lot of people got that battle of the night. I will argue this is the closest battle. And that's why it's a lot of people's battle of the night, because a lot of people had QP, but a lot of people also had Prez Mafia. Now, it's kind of clear for Prez Mafia on the Rock Fouls poll. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not sure how the chat vote went. So there was a lot of close battles on this card. I only really got 1 or 2 clear. You get what I'm saying? But ultimately, this was a fire card, minus the few hiccups. I give it like a 4 out of 5. Would never forget 5 being like a 4.5 out of 5. You get what I'm saying? So this is a dominant way to start the year, because the league owners in virtual, y'all got to step up to start off the year. And honestly, I'm not for the big war on leagues or whatever the case may be. A lot of y'all need to collab, work some shit out, so we can do shit more like this more often. Bring outside battlers in to compete, or bring international battlers in to compete, and we hold it down for each other. I would love to see that. But let's never forget 6, y'all. 21 gun salute. Rap Ref signing out.